Hello, hello, hello. Let's talk about energy today. This is a really important conversation I want to have with you. This is something I have observed in many, many people, and this could be what is blocking you actually landing the success, having what you want, really creating what it is that you really, really want. So you've woken up and you realize there's a next level that you want. There's something that you're really desiring deep down. There is a huge disconnect in understanding energy. And I want to explain it here with you today because if you're doing this, you're going to want to correct this to be actually able to manifest what it is you really, really want. Now, we live in a world now that is not the way it used to be. See, there was this thing before that lived in our existence where it was almost acceptable to say what you're supposed to say, do what you're supposed to do, really to put up a facade. Okay, that was actually accepted. It was actually encouraged. If you really look at the corporate system itself and a lot of the world, it was encouraged that we create this false persona. I mean, you even think about, I can think when I was in corporate and they were told, like, you're two different people. You're one person at work and you're one person at home. Well, that's just, I mean, it's not true, right? You're an energetic being. Who you are is who you are. But it was accepted and even encouraged that you pretend to be somebody else, right? When you don't want something, you're going to a job interview and you don't want it, they're like, why do you want the job? You're expected to lie through your teeth. You're expected to lie through your teeth, okay? That was the way it used to be, and that was accepted, and we have to really see that. But that's no longer the case anymore. And what I see with people so often is they decide they're going to do this work, and they wake up and they realize they want certain things and they don't want certain things, and they've come really clear that they've been holding themselves back and there's something else greater for them out there. But what they end up doing is then going back out in the world and they're like, well, I can't have that job yet, or I can't have this thing yet. So they keep doing this thing where they put up the facade. So they go to a job interview, say, just as an example, because it's such an easy one to pick out, that they go to a job and they don't really want it, but they say all these lies. I want this because blah, blah, blah. But really what they're doing is they're trying to just buy their time so they can go for what they really want or whatever it looks like. And here's the problem now is the world is not the way it is. Energy is not the way it is. People now pick up on your frequency. Not everyone's conscious of it, but it's happening now. So people can feel when you're not being authentic. People can feel when there's a lack of coherence between what you're saying and what you're really feeling and who you really are. You no longer have the luxury of not being in alignment. And this is one of the biggest, I'll say, challenge, but also one of the greatest gifts that comes through this whole awakening process and how you create now moving forward. But you really don't have the luxury anymore of pretending a dynamic works, pretending anything works that doesn't. Because the problem is the moment you try to pretend, people can see through you. So say you're going out and you're looking for a job and you're going to interviews. And like I said, you don't really want it. The person interviewing you won't necessarily think to themselves, well, that person doesn't really want the job and go through all the stories. They'll just be like, something feels off. Something feels off. Something doesn't feel right. Or say you've got friendships that you've outgrown and you'll just start to notice that they don't reach out to you as much anymore, right? You're trying to keep them alive because you're like, well, what am I going to do if I have no friends, right? And you're trying to keep the friendships alive, but they can feel it. And all of a sudden they don't call you as much as they used to. They don't make plans with you as much as they used to because they feel this dissonance. There's something that's not right. There's like this split between you. With the new frequencies that we have on this planet right now, you can no longer pretend. And it's one of the things we're seeing now on social media. And I know for me now, I am so sensitive to anyone I listen to where I feel like they're not living what they're talking about. We can feel it when, the word that's used, and this is because of AI, is when somebody is performing. But that's really what it is. Somebody is pretending to be somebody that they're not. They're pretending to know something they've never really embodied. We can tell. And here's the thing. You are repelled by certain people and you're attracted to certain people and situations. Start asking yourself why that is. And I can almost guarantee you it's because the things you are attracted to, you can feel a coherence with them. You can feel that that person is walking the talk or that situation is actually true. So what you're being presented and what it actually is, they're the same. And so what I'm saying to you is that people can feel that with you as well. They can feel where there is a lack of coherence. They can feel where you don't really mean it. I've said this in many times before, but when we pretend to be somebody we're not, when we say things, it's actually very manipulative. Like when we say things we don't mean, it's actually a form of manipulation because we're trying to fit in, we're trying to align with something. This is why alignment is so important. This is why reclaiming your power is so important. This is why all these things are so important. Strategy has been glorified over the last number of years. And the reason it was able to be glorified is because it was acceptable to manipulate. Okay? It used to be acceptable to manipulate. So strategy mattered. It didn't matter what your energy was. It didn't matter if you were incoherent. It didn't matter if you were authentic. It didn't matter back then. So of course strategy was important, right? But that's not the case anymore. That is not the case anymore. If you lack coherence, if you lack resonance, if you are not in alignment with the truth of who you are and what you are presenting and who you really are not in alignment, people are going to feel that. People are not going to be drawn to you. We hear about magnetism so much. Being magnetic is who you are on the inside, how you feel, and what you present yourself to be, and what you do are all in alignment. That's what makes you magnetic. But be very clear, you also repel people because being a magnet means you repel certain things and you draw certain things in. That's what a magnet is. And so you also have to be okay with repelling people. In fact, you want that. You want certain people, you want certain situations, you want certain opportunities. You don't actually want them. You want to repel them. But if you're living in fear, lack, and scarcity, that's going to be really challenging to do. That's why reclaiming your power, again, I'm going to keep beating that drum, and I've got all the courses down below. I'm going to link them down below here. And of course, one-on-one sessions with me if you're stuck right now. Absolutely. I have 3 months containers, 6 months mentorship. We go really deep into this. Because the way to create success moving forward is you absolutely must be in alignment. Who you say you are, how you feel on the inside, the truth of what you express, what you create, what you do, they must all jive. They must all jive. The world and people are too sensitive now to energies. And it's the only way moving forward. But the good news, and that might sound like a lot, I don't know where you're at in this process, but the really great news about this is it feels good. It actually, like, when you're performing, when you're acting a certain way, when you're doing it. God, it takes so much energy to do that. It's so liberating just to be yourself. But to be yourself without doing all this inner work, it's almost impossible because your mind is going to be running amok going, how are people going to perceive me? How are people going to think about me? Is this going to work? When you've reclaimed your power, that program doesn't run. It just doesn't. And here's the other part of this. Other people feel that too. Have you ever walked into a store and the salesperson comes up to you and is so flipping annoying? Like they come up to you and you're just like, you can feel the ick. Like you feel it before they even open their mouth. And they say something and they could be really helpful. They could actually know the products and you could actually even want to buy something in that store. But you're like, I'm out of here. I'm out of here. Because you feel like that person wants something from you. That person's trying to get something from you. Something doesn't feel right. When you reclaim your power, all that disappears. You're not trying to get something. You're not trying to have people see you a certain way. And that is often what creates the biggest dissonance between you and success. If people can feel that you're trying to get them to think a certain way or feel a certain way about you, they can feel it. And just like you are repelled by that salesperson that is like doing gymnastics around you, trying to get you to buy something, that's what people feel. And this is why I'm sharing this video, because I see with a lot of people, there is a disconnect. It's like we see it in others, but then we think that others don't see it in us. That's not true. We're in a time now where we can all feel the frequency, and the frequency is what is actually driving now. And whether this is like logically registered in your brain or not, for most people it hasn't. But that's what's happening now on this earth, is frequency is trumping strategy. This means your energy. And the way you actually change your energy to that next level where you can actually create your reality is, of course, reclaiming your power. You absolutely have to. It's a must do. It has to happen. There's no other way of doing this. It is the answer, because your frequency changes so much when you reclaim your power, because you just have this essence of, here I am. If you resonate, that's great. Because I know from my perspective, I know if you're not meant for this, you're just going to go away. I'm not going to convince you to stick around. I'm not going to pull you along. My God, that's a lot of work. Why would I do that? It also says I don't value myself. Like, there's so much going on behind that. But I also know that who's ever meant for this, it's going to reach them. I have trust and faith in that. Of course I do strategy. Of course I create thumbnails. Of course I write descriptions. Of course. But if my frequency and my intention, and if I haven't reclaimed my power, if I'm out of alignment within myself, I can do all that in the world. I can just do that till the cows come home. And it's not going to land with anybody, because you're going to feel the disconnect. So it's the same with you. And I know I've said this a million times right now, but it's so important. It is so important. So I am saying it a million times so you can hear it come through different angles and different ways. All right, beautiful soul. I'll put the links down to all my courses and everything down below there. If you have any questions, of course, send me a message. I always have my email down here below. And if you're interested in the 3 and 6 month mentorship, there is an application form down there. But also, if it's easier, you're really not sure where you're at and you're just like, okay, I know I need something, just send me a message, honestly, and let's just chat about it. I am here to help you get to the next level. This idea that there is a cookie cutter approach to humans is something that needs to die and go away. The opposite, of course, of cookie cutter is alignment, which is what I'm here for. So I want to help you align to what is actually needed for you, like what you actually need to move the needle for you. Okay, so that is really my intention in everything that I do. All right, beautiful soul, I will see you in the next video. Take care, and I'll talk to you soon.